Okay, here we are in Photoshop CS5, and we've got a picture of two Irish setters that are up, and I'm going to show some tips and tricks of cutting these two Irish setters out and placing them on another background. The first thing we want to go do is go up to View, Screen Mode, go to Full Screen, and open the Irish setters up so that we can see what they actually look like. We use the hand, move it over, and now we've got a good working area. The two tools that I use, one is called the Quick Selection tool, which is up here. Looks like a paintbrush with a circle around it. And that's very good for quick selection, but as you can see, I'm going to do it right now. Going to select this like this, and it actually outlines the dogs pretty well, although it does an automatic black and white contrast so that, and you just left click to expand it around a wider area, or if you have an area that you want to, like up here at the top of his head or this brick, you just press Alt and then left click and it smooths it out, takes the brick out. But here's another Alt and then this brick over here, and it does a fairly good job, although it leaves a lot of work to be done. It's quick, like they say, but here's the other method that I use, and on a busy background it probably works just as well. So we'll go back to the original, and this time we're going to use the magnetic lasso. We're going to start at his nose. We left click, and then we just go along the contour, and wherever we run into a point that we want to set, we left click, it puts down a set point. And so you can quickly go down and it just picks out the contrast between the two dogs. Left click, and then left click, and everywhere it turns, I usually left click it, and it puts a set point down. And you just go around the outline of the dogs, and come down here, around the bottom, over here where you come back, I put a set point right around here, and then through his mouth, set point, and around to his nose. Okay, now we've got a general outline of the dogs, and in order to make this more accurate, we go over here and we click on this square with a circle in it. It's edited in quick mask mode, and it turns everything on the outside red, and everything that you selected would be on the inside of the red mask. And this makes it very easy to go back over and choose the areas that you want to actually select. When you get close up like this, you can tell that there's a lot of areas that are not selected and are going to be coming through. So what you do is you use the paintbrush tool, the brush tool, and when you're going to be toggling between the black and the white. So when it's in the black, that's in the foreground, it's going to add red. So you want to add red, and the brush that I use is up here, and it's a soft round brush, and right now I'm using 98 pixel size. So I just more or less go around the outline wherever I want the red, and I actually use it to smooth out the edges, because if it's too harsh and too hard, it it doesn't look natural on the cutout. So I go around and I smooth those out using the soft brush tool. And there's a nice sharp line. We want to dull that down. Okay, there I went over the coat of the dog, so I push. I go over here to this and click it so that I'm using the white brush now. And I go back over it and I erase the section that I didn't want. Let's open this up a little bit more so I can see what I'm doing better. But when you're using the brush, it's good to get in tight. So we go back over, we change it because we want to add the red and smooth this out. And just go over that sharp edge all the way around the outline of the dog. And this one's Blarney over here. He's a champion. And get Blarney's tongue. You can pick and choose the areas that you think, like over here around his nose, it should be sharp. Now here around Blarney's head, we're going to have to go back, switch to white, and then just smooth that out, coming back like that. There's something going on here that I'm not really sure about. I don't think it's Blarney's coat. It might be a branch that's in the background. Then we go back over here and we go back to black. And continue around. Now it looks like we missed some of his ear over there. So we'll bring his ear back into play. Go back over, change it to black. And move it on down. Okay. All right, so now over here, looks like we got some of his coat. There. So you pretty much just have to play with it a little bit to get a nice edge, because that's going to be the telltale whether or not you've got a good cutout or a bad cutout. And a lot of times it looks really phony if there's too sharp of an edge, because it just doesn't look right. Because as things go into the background, they become naturally blurry. So the things that are farther away become blurry. And let's see, up here it looks like we missed a little bit on his neck. Bring that down. Okay, so I think we got pretty much all of it. Take a quick look at what's going on. This is Duchess, by the way. And let's see if we can... There. Get the top of Duchess's head. And over here. to go Dutch. And over here, get your mouth. And we're going to have to choose a smaller size tool up here because I noticed we cut some of your teeth out. There you go. Got those incisors going. All right. And then this, I think we got too much there. Okay, we've got a pretty general outline of the dogs now. So the next thing we want to do is go over here and click on the camera again, and then we see the marching ants around the objects that we want to cut out. And if we see some areas like over here where we didn't exactly cut it out, we can go back up here to the quick selection tool, go up to the quick extraction tool and press Alt if we want to continue down. From here, we have a pretty good outline of the dogs that we want to cut out. And you can either use the quick selection tool or the magnetic lasso. Those are the two tools that I use. Now, when you cut it out, you can go up here to select inverse and press delete, and it cuts them out. And then by choosing select deselect or control D, you can cut them out like this. Now, you can take the marching ants away. Now, if you do a close-up on here, it shows that there's some little bit of fringe area here that's not working very well. So you can use the eraser tool to kind of bring that back in. And it actually, with the eraser tool up here, I've got a 162 pixel brush and 116 here, and I use soft round again and just kind of go over some of the things that may not look right. The thing is that if you use the eraser tool, what you do with the eraser tool will never come back. Whereas if you were to use the quick selection tool over here, where it turns it red, you can at least go back over the selection and work with it. And then once you have everything cut out to your satisfaction, what you can do is then introduce a background. I went out this morning and took some pictures of some scenes where the dogs would fit in. Looks like they're looking at a duck or something like that. And you can actually change the backgrounds to whatever you want. Now, it looks to me like the dogs are brighter than the background, and you can actually work with that by clicking on the dogs, going up to Image, Adjust, Exposure, and then dropping back the exposure so that you can put them in a light that's similar to what the background is. Conversely, you can do the background like if we brighten up the dogs a little bit so that they're not quite that bright, but maybe they're that bright. We say OK, and then go to the background like this, and then just go Image, Adjust, Hue and Saturation. and you can increase the saturation of the background. And say OK to bring out more of the color so that the dogs don't look so out of place. Also, there's another thing you could do where you select the dogs and then you go up to edit and then down to free transform, and then you can maybe put the dogs at 75%. So then they look better at 75% than they do at the full 100%. And then you would say OK to that. Just press enter. And then you should have a line here. So probably the quickest way to get rid of that line is to pick this rectangular marquee tool and have your dog selected and just select it and delete it. So that's pretty much it for putting your cutting out something two different ways and putting it on a different background. Thanks for watching.